Hello you lovely lot, welcome back to Wednesday's video here at Barham Engines. Right guys, first of all I want to take this opportunity to thank you really kindly for the comments in the last video. I sort of went about explaining, I was on my own that day, no Isaac, I had to do it a bit late in the day. I went on to sort of explain how busy we are with the work, and I do struggle sometimes to not just find content to do the videos on, but to actually do the videos, especially in work time. So obviously initially we wanted to get the videos out about 5 o'clock, but sometimes and lately we haven't been able to do that. So I apologise for that, and you guys were really supportive. A lot of you said, I had emails as well, a lot of you said, look, we really enjoy the channel, even if you put one a week out, we'd still watch it. Obviously your business is imperative, it's the most important, it's what the channel's all about, so that is number one. So I just want to thank you all for that, guys. Thanks for your support, and in the future we will do our best to produce sort of decent content for you on a regular basis and on time. So what have we got going on today? It's been a little bit of a Figaro week actually, guys, for me. I've been cracking on with the 8 Figaro engines. You can see the boxes out here. So first of all, we've emptied all the boxes and cleaned them. That is a task in itself because they were nice and oily. So we've got everything sort of arranged there, all nice clean boxes. First thing, set Isaac on the pistons. So he's got 32 pistons and rods, and he's got to change all the new pistons on the rods, non-circlip, so he has to press them off, the old ones off, and heat shrink the new ones on. So you can see he's done that, guys. We've put them all in one box. Secondly, the cranks. So we've washed all the cranks. John has measured them. Unfortunately, these things don't suffer badly with cranks. They're all perfect, and John has polished each one. So we put one in each box. And you can see so far we've done that, and also the crank carrier that goes on the back of the block. Fortunately, our friends at the Figaro shop, they stamp all the blocks and all the crank carriers so we can match them to the blocks when we finish them. But we put one in each box. So that's where I am at the moment, guys. I've been set the task of blasting, cleaning and boring the blocks. So far I have bored those two. So you can see I blast them in the vapor blaster. They don't want them absolutely perfect, and to be honest with you, there's that much corrosion on some of the blocks. You can see there, look, it's very difficult to get these with all the webbing without spending hours and hours on them, which just doesn't warrant the money. We've got them nice and clean, and they usually give them a lick of silver paint, I think, back at their ends. So we've bored those two, obviously left a little bit in there to get the right running clearance with the hone. We've got to face these blocks, and we've got one there which I've got a bore that's been blasted, another one on here which I'm halfway through boring, and I've got these, what we got, one in the one in the blaster. You have a look there, look, got to blast that one, and then we've got 3 more to do. So hopefully this week I can get pretty much most of these done. One of the hardest things with these blocks, to be honest with you, is getting these original gaskets off. We all know what the Japanese can be like with some of their gaskets. I do not know what they put them on with, but it's like bloody concrete. So getting those old gaskets off first of all is a nightmare. So I get those off before I blast them, because our vapor blaster will not touch those gaskets. So yeah, pretty much halfway through the blocks almost. What else have we got to do? We've got a few more bits down here. So we've got rocker shafts, etc. Got to strip out all those and give them a blast. That's not too much of a task. And then we've got the oil pumps and the rear seal covers. So we remove all the old rear seals, just give the covers a blast, and clean up all those pumps, check them, and that is pretty much it, guys. So we are aiming for the end of this week. I've informed Christian that most probably it's going to be the end of the week, and he is over the moon, because usually they send 4 up. This time he sent 8 up. So if we can get them turned round by the end of the week or beginning of next week, then we have done fantastic, I think, and it will be just in time to crack on with other stuff. So guys, the Ingenium 4-cylinder. Won't go on about the 6-cylinder today because we've had no more news on that, on what we're going to be doing. But the 4-cylinder, you can see now, I've got it turned over, it's all nice and clean. We've still got to give it a blow through, a bit of a descale on the outside. We're not going to blast this one, and a bit of a lick of silver, but the inside is fairly clean. Sorry about the noise, someone's flying a jet around. What a job that is. But you can see now the base of the liners, look where they come to. Now these are an off-the-shelf, specifically made for these Ingenium 4-cylinders from Westwood liners, and you can see the only modification I've got to do once I put them in is just machine that cutout there for the conrod. So not a big problem. All I do is get a big long series end mill, set it about here and just drive it down, and then just deburr it. The job's a good one, guys. If we show you the other side, look, I've faced it. We've now got the top hat flange which hold those liners in. We were in with about 3.5 thou of interference. They ain't going anywhere, and it's bored back to standard. So nice little mod. As I say, the original liners, same cast iron, but they are basically, they haven't got the flange at the top. They sit on a little bit of a step at the bottom, but they can sort of sink, and they can also crack because they haven't got that flange. So nice little modification. Isaac's just on break, and when he's back, I'm going to get him to run you through this contraption here, which will be the oil pump. Don't know whether I'm getting you all cold.
Potentially.
Feel a bit. I'm got cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very cold now.
A little bit chilly this afternoon. The old goose pimples, yeah. Well, first of all, we've done 6 minutes already, mate, while you were having your break.
Lovely.
And I bet they'll be glad for you to get the old gimbal out, because they would have been seasick with that footage. I'll tell you that, it was a bit
like you're filming during an earthquake or something.
A little bit, bless them. So your stomach can be at rest now. So I've explained about the Ingenium, mate.
Yeah.
Nice little mod on it with the liners.
Yeah, done a nice little job down there.
Yeah. So this garage that this is for, I think they're planning on taking quite a few more of these on.
Right.
So they wanted to do this one. They wanted to watch it on the channel, us to do a bit of a video on it.
Yeah.
For them to see what's involved, etc. And yeah, potentially in the future we could be having quite a lot more of these off them, maybe. Don't know whether they've been getting many inquiries. So yeah, I've explained about the liner conversion. They do suffer with cracked liners and bore wear and all the rest of it.
I like your little cutouts you've done.
Yeah, they're nice,
good.
aren't they? Explained about
Very
that.
smart.
The good thing about this is the pistons, I think all the bits are quite good nick, aren't they?
Oh yeah, this thing didn't look too bad when it come apart.
No, so you've got the cost of the liners, which we charge £150 each to fit, plus that.
Yeah.
These liners are about 45 quid a pop, plus the VAT again. So you've got sort of 800 quid's worth of work here.
Yeah.
The only advantage is when you do this, providing the pistons are okay and you haven't had a problem, you can reuse the pistons, go a set of rings.
Yeah.
So the pistons these days can be in excess of £100 each. So really, it's, you know, if you knock that off the price of the liner job.
So it's almost something you're better off doing as a preemptive thing then.
Yeah, it is really. It's not exactly, I know loads of people say, well, I thought you didn't re-ring. Re-ringing is when we're using the existing bore without boring it, putting a set of rings in. So that's the problem, you're using the bore. But obviously if we put liners in, you've took it back to standard. So if the pistons measure good on the skirts, on the contact point, and the ring lands aren't worn in any way up, and then no reason why you shouldn't use them.
Yeah.
Obviously there is the, see these ones look perfect, don't they?
Yeah.
Cleaned up lovely.
Blasted the tops of them.
But you see there's hardly any wear on the Teflon around the edges there, so
not too bad at all.
And on these diesel pistons now, the modern pistons, you've got an insert on the top compression ring.
Oh, that's
like
an insert,
a steel insert, yeah. Oh. So you don't get that ring wear on the top ring from the obviously the eye compression and the excess load. So all good to go on that.
Yeah,
happy with them. Crank's all good. I think we're just going to polish that.
Yeah, John's polished it. It's bottom drawer down there.
Yeah, so we're going to put new rings, new crank bearings in standard size.
Yeah, I'll check them housings as well.
Yeah, there is a bit. See, there's some bearings in here, but you can see. I don't know whether these are a sputter type, but you can see these are probably watermarks really from where they've been washed, but there's a little bit of wear, but nothing drastic.
No.
and that's the load bearing. So it's all pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oil pump. So we're not going to be fitting this oil pump. We're just putting the pistons, rods and crank in.
Yeah.
And doing a dummy build, make sure the clearances are right and blah-de-blah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've faced the top of the block, so we're probably going to have to take some off the top of the pistons.
Yeah. Oh, so they'll probably have to come off the rod then.
Yeah, probably have to come off, but they're a circlip type, aren't they? So they're easy enough. Not a problem. Although, in some cases, you can buy, on the diesels, you can buy different thickness gaskets.
Right.
They do different, they do like 1 to 5 notches, and they vary from 1 to 5, about 12 thou usually.
Right. So
providing you haven't took more than that off the block, which we haven't on here.
No.
You just go for the thickest gasket and you'll be all right. So, the pump, bit of a weird setup, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. I sort of, don't know, I thought best to take it apart and check it, and then found that it's like one big oil pump sandwich.
Yeah. So, you've got the oil pump down here, which is a vane type pump.
Yeah.
Bit weird, isn't it?
They are a bit. They're a bit. There's lots of little bits
Lots of
going
little
on.
bits here. So this body here is pivoted from over here. You've got the release spring there. So this whole thing moves and acts as the relief valve.
Which is pretty cool.
So when it builds up pressure, it sort of pushes this down, and then the pressure releases in, as it would in a normal relief piston type, really. Then you've got these vanes here, which, when this thing turns, these vanes go
slide in and out
as they go round.
Fill to the edge, and
they've sort of held in position by this, looks like a bit of a bloody Heath Robinson ring. Well, it's got a ring either side, and that just stops the vanes from coming in. And then you've just got literally these vanes here that rub up against the back of the housing under centrifugal force, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Being pushed out, yeah.
And then more interestingly with this pump, which we thought we would show everyone because they probably haven't seen this, a lot of the time on diesels you'll have a vacuum pump which works things like the brake system, keeps it under vacuum.
Yeah.
That'll be on the back of the cylinder head driven by the cam.
Yeah, a lot of the time, yeah.
A lot of the time. But this vacuum pump is incorporated in the oil pump.
Yeah.
And it's a rotary vane type. So when that turns, look, you can see that vane goes in and out.
It's clever,
your
really,
vacuum
isn't it?
pump. Yeah, so we all sandwiches together.
Yeah,
You've got
so
this
that's laid out
body
in
here
order.
which directs either the oil or the vacuum to wherever it's going to go. I think over here is the vacuum side, isn't it?
No, that's on this one.
Oh, that one.
So that'll
be
to the front. Yeah, it's weird.
Right.
That must be for. Does that oil the bearing inside there?
Yeah, maybe it does. Yes, that's an oil feed up to the bearing. And this goes
That's the vacuum
on
side.
there, and this is the vacuum side. So that feeds, obviously, when this bolts to the block, you've got an O-ring there, and then it's got
It goes on that one.
So that'll be there. So you've got the vacuum that goes right up to the top.
Through there, yeah.
And then the opposite side will be the oil feed to
Yes,
the
I think
main
so.
oil gallery.
Yeah.
Pretty clever, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a nice little compact unit, but
Yeah, providing it doesn't wear out, because these are £400
yeah.
pop.
Well, yeah, you'd be annoyed if your vacuum pump went and your oil pump was all right, because you'd have to do a new oil pump at the same time.
That's the only downside I can see to it.
Yeah.
It's a sump off job, and almost
Sump
like
off.
replacing an oil pump to change a vacuum pump. You've got
Yeah.
two things that could go wrong, and it's a right ball ache rather than just replacing it off the back of the cylinder head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a bit of an odd design, but I suppose if it works, it works.
So yeah, that will.
Things like that we don't like, do we?
I do not. I hate that.
You've got this with the wires that are doused in the oil, and of course what happens, you've got hot oil, which makes the wires and the coverings go rock hard, and then they crack and don't last long.
You got an exposed wire in oil.
Yeah, not a
Nice.
great idea. But anyway, there we go. So next stage, mate, is clean this thoroughly out,
Yep.
get our bits on order, do our dummy build, and
We've got oil bungs on these somewhere.
probably.
Yeah. Got lots of those dotted about, which is
Yeah.
ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. They're all removable, which is pretty good, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, not a bad one to do, really. They've got their renowned issues, these Ingeniums, but
So what are the issues? Is it the
Well, the balls are one issue where it cracks the liners,
Yeah.
or wears the liners,
They have
but
DPF problems as well, is it? Or?
I think they have DPF problems. It's the same as any diesel, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
They have the
it's
DPF
really
and the injector issues.
Yeah.
You know, they're so highly strung, these diesels. You know, you've only got to have an injector. You've got real high pressure injectors. You've only got to have a little issue with them, and
yeah.
put so much load on the big ends. That's half the time what causes the big ends to go. DPF and EGR can cause
Overfueling.
issues like similar to that.
Yeah.
Dilution of the oil, all that. They're so dependent now, because they're designed within an inch of their life, they're so dependent on the oil viscosity. You get any diesel or petrol in the oil, it just buggers them, doesn't it? So yeah, not great. But there we go.
So really it's the same as any other diesel, it's just service it.
Yeah.
Keep it serviced, keep everything as it should be.
It is, basically. This beautiful looking Cosworth is still here, mate.
Yeah.
But it is going to be leaving us this week.
Oh, it is?
Called the owner, very, very happy with it, paid the bill straight away. And that's another one, Cosy in the bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm happy with this one, mate, because this come in looking horrible.
It was.
And it's not very often we get one with all the trimmings on.
No.
You know. So, yeah, it looks
nice.
really nice. I'm happy with that.
You must have done loads of these Cosworths now.
Done
like,
a
over
few,
the years.
mind.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for... It started off before we bought the business, so we've had this for what? 7 years?
Like, yeah,
8 years? 7
like
years. John and I bought it 7 years ago. And I started doing it about 2 years before that, 2 or 3 years before that.
Right.
So I was employed, obviously. Started just advertising on Facebook through my own name. Obviously, then we had 1 or 2, and I probably did 10 through being employed. Obviously, it worked well for my boss at the time because it was work coming in for him, and I was getting to know, being known for doing them. Be honest, never really set out to be a Cosworth YB specialist. I just love the brand. I love the cars. Just fascinated by the Ford Cosworth motor, and just wanted to know more about them.
They were a bit iconic though, weren't they? So
bit iconic, yeah. So yeah, never really intended on sort of being a specialist. Just sort of end up, I suppose you just end up becoming one. Like you'll be a Subaru specialist one day, mate, won't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose it's the same thing. You just like the cars. You have your own, and you want to rebuild the engine, so you do it, and then
if you're interested, you just will. But I had to smile the other day because I had a customer who, I'm not going to mention any names or what the engine was. It was a Cosworth motor anyway. We did. And we had a little issue with it.
Oh, right.
Issues resolved, not a problem, you know. But he didn't want it to be mentioned on the channel because he said, and he didn't want to tell anyone about it. Not just for the issue, but when I actually got speaking to him, he said that the reason is because when he came to me initially, people in the Cosy world, whether it be the forums and all the rest of it, they advised he didn't go to me and go to probably one of the more popular, well-known names that have been in the game for years, which is fair enough. But he'd been watching our videos, he trusted us, so he gave us a chance. So I'm really grateful of that. But I did have to smile a little bit to myself because I thought, well, I never really set out to tread on anyone's toes.
no.
I get a feeling sometimes that with some of the specialists, not just in the Cosy game, but in some of the others, it's like you get all these specialists, say the Hondas and the Cosworths and Skylines and stuff like this. The old school way of being a specialist in something is to keep everything hush hush, sort of under the carpet, keep it quiet, we'll do it for X amount. They don't seem to like people like me that stick everything on YouTube and tell them exactly how much it costs.
And exactly
it ain't
what
nothing
you're doing
special,
with
it's
it,
just a bloody engine.
Yeah.
And we do the same with that as we do with a Morris Minor, and it's like, well, that's just the way it is an engine, but obviously when you specialise in something, you get to know all the little...
details.
All the little details, all the things that
you've got drawers full of stuff that you know you're going to need because you need this length M8 bolt for this and that, and it's got to be the cap head and all.
That's
you know what I mean?
And you get to know what they suffer with and what little modifications you can do to make them more reliable and this, that, the other. And like a lot of people in our comments say that they never usually see an engine that's been running. All they hear is of the problems we have. You know, I'm no doubt there's a lot of guys out there think, I mean, everything they do packs up, but it's not the case. We do a lot of motors. We got no problem in saying about the problems we have.
Yeah.
It's all about how you deal with it and rectify it, and that's just business, isn't it? But I think some of these specialists like to keep that all a bit quiet, don't they?
Yeah,
they don't like to tell anyone. They like to tell them how wonderful they are, but that ain't in the real world how it all works, is it?
No, you're bound to have little issues here and there, and best thing you can do is just take it on the chin and sort them out. Like.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, be honest, I've never been too proud to say that I'm absolutely wonderful. There's loads of advice I've had off people that have been in the game for years. Like I've had hints off Dave Pritchard, PJ Motorsport have been a massive help to me from the word go.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul's been in the game way longer than me, and he knows a lot to do with these Cosworths. So yeah, I've been really thankful to them. But we do a lot of engines. We do a lot of engines for motorsport stuff. I've got cars running in the modified Ford series. Had a phone call the other week off one of our customers that was running one of my engines. Previous to that, he was running other engines. Didn't last 2 minutes, having big problems. He's run ours all year successfully. He's where he's sort of higher than where he's expected to be on the grid and what have you. So that to me is successful, isn't it?
Well, that's the best thing you could ask for, really.
Yeah, so it is slightly annoying that we don't get to see more of these, and I think next year we're definitely going to try and get out and about a bit and get to speak to people that are running the motors that we've done in stuff and see, try and show a bit more success in it.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't just want to be known for all the misery. So if you've noticed in our videos, the last 2 or 3 months we've tried to calm down with the problem side of the videos and sort of go more into the technical and what we're doing, and let's show the professionalism. But we're not, if we do have problems, we'll still show it. We're not trying to hide from that, because it's, that's just real life, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah.
We're all human.
And a lot of these things are heavily modified. They are. It's like that, the Morris from the other day, that the head gasket wouldn't seal properly around the waterways. And it's stuff like that. It's like, well, it is a 1275 head on a 1098. It's all things that you can't fully predict other than what's been said online or.
No, and to be honest with you, to a certain extent, even when you're doing a stock one of these, which is rare, a bit like the Moggy, when you recondition an engine, you're modifying it. You've machined things that weren't designed to be machined from standard, and then you've got to modify other things. So on this, we'll change the piston crown design, because we know that is a bit better than standard. We get our own jut out, piston jut out, put our valve pockets in. So we do stuff. We run different crank clearances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we're modifying it even when it's standard, really. But you're just trying to make it as reliable as possible. And even with a performance engine, I always try and work very slightly on the conservative side and try and make it reliable.
You're better off, if you could choose between 590 horsepower and it lasting 6 months, or 530 horsepower and it lasting 4 years, it's like,
exactly, it's a compromise, isn't it? You've got to compromise, and it's trying to educate the customer about that. Really, it's not all about squeezing it out to the nth degree and it lasting 2 minutes. It's all right if you're someone that doesn't mind just rinsing someone of their money constantly. That's great, but the idea is for them to get some enjoyment out of it and enjoy the whole project and what have you. And so I think I've gone off on a right tangent there, mate, and
a little bit.
But yeah, done quite a few of these now.
Only 8 minutes of it.
I don't know how many I've done. Loads.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if you could, I don't know, go back through your invoices and that and see.
I have gone back for invoices, and I've done loads, mate. Probably getting into the hundreds.
It's a lot of them, really.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, there's 2 in here now. 1. But, we had 3 in the other day.
Yeah.
There's normally one or more in here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there is, yeah. I just like looking at them.
I
Pretty
do.
rough and cover,
I do
innit?
think they're just a great looking engine. They're simple, but in a really nice way that they're like very good, but also
Yeah,
quite simple.
they're still pretty good. And 40-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
That's
pretty trick
mental.
motor for 40-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I think on that note, mate, we're going to end now. We're not going to babble on all night.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for watching. See you on Friday.